live? We're live. Okay, wonderful. All right, well, I'm going to call to order the Sumner County Library Bylaws and Policies Committee meeting for October 8th, 2024. We ran just a little bit late. There's a lot of traffic. People are getting caught up in the traffic. But we'll officially open that now. So we're going to do a roll call.
Erica Grammer.
Jim Holcomb.
And Joanna Daniels. And with 3 people, we do have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. And hope that someone else shows up. So, all right, Erica, would you like to do the invocation?
Sure. Lord, we want to thank you so much for today, and thank you for just the blessing of that in itself. And Lord, I pray that I thank you for the honor that we have of being on the library board, and I pray that you discuss the different things on the policies. And we thank you so much in precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. So now we're going to move on to approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
Okay, second by Erica. Motion by Jim, second by Erica. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I don't think I can at this point.
I know, right?
That would be
You're all
something.
in.
That would be something, right?
All right. Now we're going to go on to the approval of the minutes from October 18th. And so I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to motion to discuss the minutes. Take them on over. I sent it in an email.
Got it.
It's not
Yep. Check.
and I apologize. That's the only
No,
thing.
don't worry about it.
When you're ready. Okay. There's a few things that I want to change. It says to actually refer to our people's chairman, and I looked through a lot of the county commissioner committee meetings, and it's always chairman. So anywhere where it says chairperson, I'd like to change it to chairman. Also, under Section 5 and Section 6, where it says vote to accept agenda, it says the word a motion, but it doesn't say that the motion passed on both of those. And I'll send these little notes around you for you to take a look at. And then also, at the end of that meeting, it doesn't state that Beverly Hyde had resigned from the library board, saying that the policy went against her standards. And I just feel that that needs to be on the minutes to show that something like big like that did happen at the library board meeting. So I'm going to send these around for you guys to take a look at my notes. And I only crossed out chairperson once, but anywhere that it's at, I won't cross it out.
So you just that you noted that motion passes when it did.
Yeah, and I'll have Amy that took those, and so I'll have her. Yeah, let's do the thread.
Very kindly proposed.
Yes, it was great for her to take those for us. I didn't see anything else in there. I will note that, just for you guys to reference, these were actually already posted on the county website, so I have to have them taken down.
Okay.
Just wanted you all to have that on record that they've been posted and before we were approved. Yeah. So, all right, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from October 18th as amended and as noted.
Oh, so moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
You walked right in. Hey.
All right. My second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, wonderful. All right, welcome. No worries. Both of you guys had traffic problems, so yeah.
And the emergency things.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to go on to recognition of the public. And today we have Millersville Library Director, Corbett.
How's it going?
Hello, would you like to say anything?
Great if we have still meetings, if you could email all the directors so we know and I'm not scrambling this morning, that we have to learn in this meeting. That would be great.
Okay. And, all right, well, thank you so much for that. And, all right, so there's no other one in the public? All right, and just to comment, really quickly, library directors are not actually, required to be at committee meetings, just for the board to know that, especially for you new board members, they're not actually required to be at any committee meetings. Okay. The only requirement, they have is at the library board meetings, the official one. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move on to new business. I can't talk today either.
Shakespeare made up several thousand words. You're entitled to a couple. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will take you up on that. Okay, so first of all, new business is to elect a chairman. So I'll open the floor for nominations for a chairman.
You're the current chairman.
I am the chair of the library board.
Right.
And there is no current chair of the library of this committee because Beverly Hyde was the chair and she had resigned. So I'm just simply filling in as the chair because I'm the chair of the library board.
Check.
That's it. So yes, so we would need a chair.
Could you serve as that chair?
Can I serve as the chair? Are you asking me to serve?
I'm asking if that is a possibility. I want all options on the table.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes, I can, because according to the bylaws, the chair of the library board can be a voting member and a chair of other
Check.
committees.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I will nominate Joanna Davis.
If you don't want to nominate.
Nominations are open. I've just nominated.
He's always quick to nominate someone else.
Everybody
Everybody
here can be nominated if they so choose.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you can also decline the nomination.
All right, I
Yeah.
accept your nomination.
Great.
Any other nominations?
No, I'll second your nomination.
Oh, boom, look at that.
All right. Well, all right. So to have Joanna Daniels as the chair of the Bylaws and Policies Committee. I'll entertain that motion.
Yeah.
So moved.
So moved. Okay. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Great.
All right.
Congrats.
Okay.
And condolences.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. I knew the condolences. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on to the notary policy. And this is a brand new policy that we are going to be introducing to Sumner County. Woo-hoo! So the one you have in front of you is the one that was referenced to at the library board meeting in September. And I have looked up a few other ones as well in Tennessee and outside of Tennessee. The only one in Tennessee that I can find is the one in Nashville, and other than this one. And so...
And this one's out of Springfield, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And there is Chattanooga as well. But I'm not seeing this one.
Because I believe that Nashville was also referred to, was that the handout that Commissioner or doc, that she was passing around?
I actually never got it, so I don't know.
Okay, I believe that one, if I remember correctly, I think that one was referencing Nashville.
Okay.
And then the one that was just referred to, but we never saw material from, was this one from Springfield. So this is the one that
Correct.
helped me with names, my brain.
Caitlin
Was referred.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, this is the one she was referring to. Yeah, and then I see Nashville,
And I think that Shannon had referred to, I think she just found that online.
what I'm saying is there's not a lot, I don't see this as something that's regularly amongst libraries, and yet I'm cool with moving forward with it, but it's not as, I don't think as predominant or as,
Not a bunch of them out there.
no. And so, yeah. So, all right, well, this, and most of them, well, I think it was the Nashville, they charge.
That's the one
I
in
think-
Nashville different from this one.
So I think Nashville does not charge, which is what my encouragement would be. And I believe that's even what was said of Millersville that was wanting to do that as well.
Sure, yeah.
I don't think we should charge because you do start getting any question marks about, so I think in policy we should mention that
Yeah.
of not charging
Public service.
as a public service.
Right.
But I think that Nashville did not, if I remember correctly.
They don't.
And I liked a lot of their listing, which I see here too, just things they don't do. You don't want to, there's certain aspects you do not want to get into.
Yeah.
A lot heavier of the liability.
Stuff, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Online on, the Nashville, they actually mark what they do, which I think would be good. Not what we don't, just what we don't, but what we actually do.
Right.
I think
So there's
that's
no gray area.
Yeah, you see that
Doesn't look very
documents we
clear.
do / don't do. I think.
Mike, you're saying it doesn't look clear, this one?
Yeah, because when I'm just looking at it, I can't just, my eye doesn't go straight to the we don't do these,
Mhm.
and we do these, you know, it's just kind of like all in there, you have to read the whole thing to,
I got you. So maybe move that up into bullet points.
So,
yeah.
and I think bullet points are, but when we do represent, we make sure it's real easy for the eye.
Very easy.
But yeah, so I just found that the documents we do / don't notarize, I think that's Nashville. So if y'all would like to glance at those.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. So right now it is sworn statements.
That they
Powers
do.
that they do, yes. The library's free notary service is intended for simple, documents, auto titles, etc., that do not require special expertise. Some commonly notarized documents include sworn statements, powers of attorney, deeds of trust, rental agreements, and it looks like this is kind of examples of things. Copies, certifications, and we could do this,
It's pretty safe to say none of us really have expertise on what should be available for notarization and what shouldn't be, so there's obviously
She's
somebody.
she's smiling. I
You
used
have-
to be a notary,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
as far as,
So
far
what
as
should we do, Erica?
You told us that at the last board meeting.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the emphasis that the emphasis, however we word this and whatever. Because when you start getting into more of the complicated, even some of these start making me,
Yeah, like
that's
real
why I've been
estate,
really
that's-
quiet, sitting here looking at these going, those are some pretty heavy ones,
Real
actually.
estate in general, to me, is kind of an expertise.
Because when it can
That one
be,
says we cannot notarize the real estate
All
transaction.
the real
Yes.
estate, well, you were just
Correct.
saying a deed of trust, is that,
it's,
that one, when you said we could?
yes, does include deeds of trust on theirs, but we need to be very careful about the wording of simple
Anything real estate.
document is just the important aspect, so we need to think through what that is, because when you start getting into more of these deeper things, you are it would all fall, the majority of it would fall on the person who is the one who is the notary,
Right.
who has paid for the liability, with the bond, I can't think of I think it's called a bond, but whatever the terminology.
We don't want anybody to be overly responsible for something
And-
that's just,
Something in our writing, I don't know if it's included in this writing, but it is in the other. I do think it always should be written up as, and it's to the notary's discretion. So if something does
That's in
feel
there.
too heavy, yes, okay.
That's in there.
If something feels too heavy, that it is their name,
Yeah,
it's
no
their
problem.
name,
Yeah.
so it's to their
just say
discretion.
no.
Now this says benefit of the residents of the community. So they'll have to have a photo ID showing. Now, my question here
Try
is,
that anyway, to get something notarized.
but if we're trying to say that they're a resident of the community, should they bring in a second form of identification?
What does a notary normally need?
Well, this is for benefits of the residents of the community, because we don't want people from all
Yeah.
over the place coming to the library. At least that's what I would think. We don't want, if this is something that we're, fine, but you guys, what are your thoughts?
I wonder if people are gonna really be coming from very far away to come to the library to get something notarized.
But it could be somebody that is from out of state, that they're just here, and then they're gonna go to the library, and again, is that something that we're okay with?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they need to have a card at that location, that kind of stuff,
Library
and
card.
that would already have proven address.
Right,
Oh.
that's true. So if we say. if
So at
a
least, you would
library
at least,
Card
Have to be a
holders?
patron of the library.
and I think that might even be in some of the writing where
That's
I've read
in
some of
here.
that. Yeah.
That's in here when it comes to the,
That's where I thought.
$3 non-carbon.
Oh, yeah,
And I don't think we should charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I thought, I couldn't remember, I thought.
So then notary service is limited to 5 documents per person per visit for existing library card holders, and then there is for the non-card holders. But since this is gonna be library card holders, what are your thoughts?
It would at least encourage them to call. You do at least have to prove your address, you do at least have to prove your county. I mean, like, those are my thoughts. That way you're attracting people who are tending to come in. If they really wanted to, they could get a card. They would just have to present the appropriate information to get a card so that they can do it.
Do we know if Westmoreland currently requires a card for service?
What about Nashville?
I don't know.
Well, this would show me no
I don't-
for
I just-
Springfield, they don't.
At this time, Westmoreland, it didn't sound like she really had a policy, just someone came in and
Yeah, which,
did it. Yeah.
and if that's the policy, that's okay. I'm seeking to understand. Taking a further step back,
Sure.
I want to make sure that offering services like this, and I know there are other services that have been requested to be placed in libraries, like, is that consistent with the plan for libraries from the commissioners? And the answers to my questions are, I don't know, so maybe somebody else does. Does Gallatin City Hall offer notary services? Does Portland City Hall, does Westmoreland City Hall offer notary services?
I know they do here.
But this is the county building, right? And so if, I wouldn't want somebody from Westmoreland to have to drive to the county building, to get notary services. And so in that case, it would make sense to have it at another public building. And so maybe, does their city hall offer that?
Okay.
You know,
What we could do is, if you guys, we could, suspend Robert's rules and ask Amy the questions, and she's the one that brought us this notary service.
Yeah, sure, great.
So I'll entertain a motion to suspend Robert's rules.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Amy? So where is it in Millersville that people can get notaries? Can it be done at City Hall?
City Hall doesn't offer that? Okay,
The bank does, but have to have an account.
Sure.
I do believe that they are,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not there all the time.
Okay. And what about at, these mailboxes places? Usually.
So, yeah,
No,
Millersville,
UPS,
we don't have a post office, let alone, we have White House that we have to go to,
Oh, that's
and we are
right.
considered Goodlettsville. So like we're further away from a lot of those things. That is one of the reasons I could sit here and go,
yeah,
there's not really a lot of options, but
Sure.
yeah.
going into White House is different, but,
No, I hear you.
So the bank charges for it? Okay.
And you have to have an account.
Okay. Oh, if you don't have an account. They don't charge, but it's because I.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
so let me ask you too, what are your thoughts on the card versus not card?
Access to a free service for someone in our community, I'm opposed to on the basic level because that's not what the library does. I'm all for people coming in and getting library cards, but a lot of the people wouldn't come back. And so you
Right.
have to weigh the cost of how much to print the library card, how much to store the information on the
Sure.
web, on the
I
cloud,
get that.
or someone who just came in because they need to get their renter's agreement notarized. So
Right.
that they could move here, so they could do all this other stuff.
Right.
With I don't have the numbers, so I can't
Right.
tell you, but there's a slate show. I bought 500 library cards, and it was like 600 or something, so each card is over $1.
Yeah.
So technically, you would be not losing money, because the library that's not how it works, but the funding that would go to
Mhm.
isn't being reciprocated.
Mhm.
So another question with that, because that's a good insight to hear, is, my heart is just to try to protect. I don't think there's going to be a run on, this dashing in of the masses or anything, but your time, I'm wanting to protect your time, and I'm wanting to consider not getting an overload. So would just the scheduling process take care of that? Because you said they would need to schedule it, they would need to make an appointment. So would that help that aspect in itself, and we don't have to worry about the card or not card holder and that kind of stuff?
I think so, because you can have it, I would just make like a Google form and put it on our website, where they would have to put in this information before they can even like reserve a time to come meet with me. I don't know about Westmoreland, and then have like one Saturday a quarter where, come in, show your driver's license, you're there, do that, but it would just be
And so that will be our way of not having a run on, like I said, I don't think it'll be the masses, but protecting your time, that would be the way to do that.
as a librarian, I also look at statistics, and so having it in a Google form, I
Yeah.
can also keep track of, okay, this is the service we offered, this is how long we offered it,
Yeah.
these are the options, this is how many people partook of it, so maybe this really isn't actually something we need to continue, so it would give us that hard data
Yes.
to determine if this is a service, or, okay, I had somebody come in yesterday to meeting in there, right? It's like, then, hey, this might be something some of the other libraries want to look at. And data is very helpful in making any kind of decision.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna ask, is how many people do you feel like really need this or could use this in general? I mean, I know you don't know.
All of
Yeah,
us.
really? Okay.
Weekly, I have someone coming in weekly.
Okay.
That's why
That's good.
I brought it to the board to ask.
And you're the one that would have the notary, right?
It would be me, and take
Okay.
the bond out myself.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be, and the county wouldn't be paying for anything.
What's the cost for you to do that?
I think it's on $660.
That sounds.
And then after, for the county commission, and have them approve that you want it, that you're acceptable to be sent over. And then there are some online courses that, some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for. I'm not sure if that's a scam. I didn't want to devote hours of time to a lot of information without.
Unless you knew it was gonna happen, yeah.
Well, and a lot of those are, when you start getting into more complicated things that you're not going to be doing through the library, where that comes in. So, okay, thank you.
Did you have a question?
I did. On Erica's note, there is no free service, right? I mean, it costs somebody something, you know, and so in your guys' case, it will cost time, and that's, you know, the greatest resource we have. What, do you have any thoughts on charging versus not charging?
No, I would never charge. There's a library charge of it.
Okay.
It never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. We enable equitable access to information. So if we put a charge, a price on something, then.
I don't know that this is information, but.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, when it's information, members of our community who might not have the hard money to pay would be denied a service that I feel should not be charged for, but we're very low income in Milledgeville, and it could be a hardship.
Yeah.
So that is
Well,
some of what Eric had brought up, the lawyer had brought up, where if we did charge, where would those monies go and
Right.
how, so, I mean, that's why.
And I believe that we offer equal access to information. And therefore, everyone is equal in the sense of coming into the library. And, you know, it really isn't free. Free isn't a good word because you can't check out a book unless you get a library card.
Right.
You can't come in and use a computer unless you have a library card.
Right.
There's many things in the library that you can't do that, and it isn't free because the taxpayers actually have to pay for it.
Okay, good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely is an equal access to information.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm not sure this is an information issue.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
well,
It's a service.
she's talking to her.
I got you. Okay.
And then-
As much as it's a service
Correct.
that you're having to pay for out of your pocket, so that's, I think, we're just being protective more of you and the liability that could come back to whatever service we
I
provide.
absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from. Free was not the best word, but we do offer a lot of other services at no cost to people that are community that don't require library work.
Is there anything, can you give us a couple of examples of that? And I'm just kind of new, so I'm kind of.
Mike, we're actually going to move on because I just saw what time it is.
Oh, okay.
We're actually going to.
Any of the programs that we offer in the library.
Yeah.
Books, the books. I think the books
Yep.
is probably the biggest. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, thanks, I'm good.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna call us into, Robert's Rules of Meeting to order. Okay, wonderful, apologize about that.
No, that's okay. I
Thank you.
wouldn't-
Thank you, Amy. Okay, so again, yes, this is a service. This is something that, again, I have not found that a tremendous amount of libraries actually do it. And I was cautioned against doing it, but I think that if we can just put some parameters around it, she had mentioned about, you know, 1 day a month. Well, that's not going to really be serving people if we do it 1 day a month, because what if you need it notarized in the next 5 days?
Right.
You know, that's not going to work. And then I think that any type of way that we can, okay, let me know your guys' thoughts. So like, on this one, it says notary services are regularly available Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4. Well, of course, our libraries aren't always open 9:30 to 4 on Monday through Friday. We could change that to, you know, 8 hours during business hours, a half an hour after opening and half an hour before closing. What were your thoughts?
We've got 5 separate buildings 5 separate
Yeah.
hours of operation. I would write the policy so that local control is, I would leave that in the hands of the notary on site, at the discretion of their director.
Okay, but, okay, so then, but per reservation though?
By reservation.
Because that's what is on here.
Yeah.
That, there is a reservation.
Here's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
By reservation, if we make this more about the by reservation, then it lets them narrate when those would be available. So if that is, for some, because we are trying to set the precedent, right? So policy, we're trying to set it so that any of the 5 needs may be very different in different communities and availability. So I think our emphasis should not be like how they have it worded here, where it says the specific time, like what he was saying, to give the
Director.
At the
Yes,
discretion
we
of the
give the
library director.
but then they can set it up where when it's by reservation, the reservations will only have certain times available, or it would be specific where they can write it where it's specific to where
That works for their
it
schedule.
lets them work that out specifically.
By appointment.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a little bit easier if from 1 to 3 daily, or something like that.
Yes,
If
but
we
that's
have
going to be a different need in a
For
different
each
place.
library, correct, that's what I'm saying, but if they have those, so that every day we're gonna have this service. So
But
if
that-
somebody,
That's only during
only during,
business hours.
yeah, like whatever hours they set,
During,
for it to be available, and then that'd be,
It's set schedule by each library.
right, that would be reserved, or, through the document you talked about, be reserved like that.
And I mean, like, there are cool things that we could suggest or put, like, one of my suggestions would be for them to maybe have some set times, like what she was referring to. Maybe one Saturday a month is like an expected
that's
time,
not
Every day.
something
an
they do.
expected
Every day,
time.
yeah.
But then by reservation, she could make some, different agreements or whatever,
And those
by
will pop up
whatever
on our
works for
site, I
her.
guess, if they know
Yeah.
that that's available, the
So-
public knows.
Yeah, so we can put that at discretion of the library director, for hours and by reservation or appointment only during normal public hours. Because I don't want them having to open
Right.
it early
That's
or
right.
late.
Right.
That's right.
Nor an
And then
expectation
the
at all.
notary
expected.
can be reached, we'll put in the phone number there. A valid government-issued photo identification is required of any customer-assisted notary. I'm actually of the notion that they have to get a card, library card, and the reason being is because we are doing a service. It is a way for us to track who is coming in, and it's, the best, y'all can disagree with me on this. I just feel that something like this, that's actually an employee is having to interact and actually assign something, what big deal is it going to do to actually a library card? Because then, maybe they thought they were only going to come in once, but now they love the library so much, now they're going to come in again. You know what I mean? And also, I just feel that, it's as far as like, people just coming in willy-nilly. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
But you disagree with me? That's my opinion.
I'm kind of split. As far as my opinion on this, because I was even pushing for that, and then, I hear the resources and the space and that kind of stuff. If it is just a one-time thing, but I do like the documentation even further. Now, the Google Docs could function that way as far as documentation, because they are going to, it's not just somebody showing up, and there would have to be, maybe we could even write it in as a part of the policy of some kind of, or something that might be part of the signing in process, that those are required information, like address and things like that, so that we at least have that information. But if it is just a dead lead, like, if it's just going to be lost resources, I do hear that too. So I kind of am torn in between. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, they're still using from the resources, because there's
I'm sorry, in the card. I'm talking like the card in the state database, you know, if there's just a one-time, pop in. But it does, I mean, like, I hear what you're saying too. I hear both sides of that.
Yeah.
You know, one thing Amy said was that there are other services that are provided without a library card. So that's something that we could.
But this is a notary service.
Right.
Services like that, I think that she was referring to, like, there's like free food and, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but someone coming in and get food, you know, from that. This is more of a, I guess the reasoning of the notary is kind of a big deal. It's a legal document. That's why I'm saying we need a library card. That's the reason why I'm pushing for library. Because it's not like someone coming in and getting a donation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now an employee has paid money, their own money, to go and get a notary and all that stuff. And that's just where I'm coming with the library card. So.
I'm kind of split as well, so I can see both. I can see the side where it's a service, it's included in the service, we want to do it for the public. I can see your point of having that extra accountability to this person. Have a library card. Amy and the rest can say, hey, here's all my marketing materials to give you to come back to the library. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of see it both ways.
And I also see it this way, and you know, maybe now it's going to be free at the library. So there's other notaries in Gallatin, Westmoreland, and Portland are going to be like, I literally just lost money.
I don't think
But
No.
I can say other than that, I mean, like,
I don't think that's
I'm
the
just
case.
I can hear that, but
Yeah.
as a former
I
notary,
understand.
I knew places of businesses were, you know, places were open and
I
available.
want to respect that this is something that people do go and, but anyways, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Jim, you look like you're ready to say something.
I'm always ready to say.
You are the first thing.
No, I think we might be overthinking this a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I don't know, when you take your kid to a reading program at the library, I don't think you need a card. Yeah. So services like that are the bread and butter of the library, require no card. I don't think a card's needed nor required for this. If I understand the way my library works, and card to check out a book is about it. Maybe use the internet.
But taking your kid to here at a library isn't getting a legal document signed.
I understand.
So
I understand.
I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
kind of
But the liability, the way I see it, the liability is the person who's doing the signing, because that does end up falling on that, so.
y'all can disprove it's okay with me.
Sure.
I'm just saying that, but taking your kid to a reading program and not having is different than actually having somebody notarize a legal document that's going to hold up in court.
But we're talking about fees, we're talking about access to the service, right? And so I don't know, I would be more inclined to charge for the service, the nominal $3 or $5 fee, than I would to require a library card. I think they talk about more work for the library staff, and maybe more discouraging work to see somebody only get a library card to get the document notarized and then toss it, right?
Okay.
You
It's
know.
more of a process that is.
Right, it just
So
another hurdle.
So just a photo ID?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Whatever the
as a
notary
notary,
requires.
Right.
as a notary, whoever the notary is at the time, they have to document who that
That's right.
person is, they have to
That's right.
document that information, and that is a part of their paperwork anyway, so
That's right.
Okay.
as far as the liability, she does have that document, she would have that documented.
I would ask that we.
I'm not going to die in the hill.
Right. I just ask in the policy that we ask for those libraries that do have a notary on staff or offer that notary service to include those statistics in their
In the report.
in the reports.
Okay.
Right. Because I think we're all a little surprised that there was a notary service
Correct.
at one of our libraries.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, that'd be good to know. You know, and how,
Just more for the interacting of the public with,
Yeah.
with the
Hey,
public and the.
how much foot traffic is that generating?
Okay. And then, again, any notary classes, expenses will not be taken on by the library or the county. That is simply,
That is on the
That is the deal, that was all.
That's right, that's on the responsibility of whoever is becoming the notary or maintaining. the
Yeah,
notary.
and back to my original question, you know, hey, what's the guidance, what's the wishes of the county commissioners, right? If this is something they want, then I think the expenses should be covered,
Right.
you know, by the county. You know, this is,
they haven't said whether
I
they want
understand,
it.
yeah.
So-
Maybe check with Shannon next time.
I think it's just trying to create, I know I'm taking words of hers. I think the biggest picture from what I've heard being presented from Amy and
Yeah,
others
totally.
is just having that one more level of things available. It does give them a touch point with people so
Right,
that
for
possibly
sure.
they can
Yeah.
attract them.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And really quickly, just because we are in.
Yeah, we're running the chicken.
You know, with the budget, when I went for Hendersonville to try to get more money, they actually cut Hendersonville's budget.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, they're being, and I'm happy that they're being very fiscally responsible
Yeah,
and just
for
being
sure.
really tight. So I think that, again, since this is something that we're not gonna charge for, and it's something that the library director was brought to us, and I guess is already being in Westmoreland, I think that,
Today for today, it is what it is.
I
Yeah.
think that we should just be like, hey, there's nothing. You know?
And if we were to pay for it, not us, but the
The county.
county, then the county starts taking responsibility and liability for the things that are being signed, and that's where you start getting in dangerous places.
I'm not sure that that's necessarily
That
true.
would be true.
It could be a lot more, to me, that would be more of a leaning of a possibility of a lawsuit than a person that is taking responsibility.
I don't know, she was
Understood.
a notary, I wasn't.
Conduct, correct?
Understood.
Uh-huh.
I think the buck stops with the notary,
Yeah,
I believe.
it's like, it is
But it could-
really like the notary is saying, putting their hand on a Bible
Right.
and doing the whole,
Yeah.
and saying, this person is who they say they are,
Right.
who, this signature on this piece of paper is by the person that they say they are.
Yeah.
And so it's.
Well, what I'll do is, okay, so we're not charging, it's a free service, photo ID required. I'm seeing documents have to be in English, notary service is not available for deeds, wills, living trusts, codicils, depositions, marital dissolution agreements, oh, Lord, no, marriages or parenting plans. So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll put together the notes. Certain public documents cannot be copied and notarized. For the service, please see the Tennessee Office of Vital Records, okay? The notary in the library shall never notarize any signature without the maker's signature, person appearing there. Yet, situations where the witness is required, the library will not provide witnesses. I agree with that. And in accordance with the law, the notary will not provide service if the customer, document, or circumstances raises any issues of authenticity, ambiguity, doubt, or uncertainty for the library. So what I'll just go through is the notes that we had. Discretion of the library director for hours and by reservations appointment only during normal public hours. Photo ID is required, which is in here, includes notary signature on the notary. So what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll kind of put together a policy on our notes that we have here, and then we'll set another meeting and we'll approve it or make any last minute changes. Sound good to you? Any other, and no library card required. No library.
No, I didn't see the Nashville policy. Is there a way to kind of meld these two together, or is it?
It didn't really have much of a policy, and this is Springfield. Nashville had these things that can be done, but I think you were like, you want it to be.
They're a little bit more serious, these are a lot more serious, yeah.
Simple, yeah. So, what I'll do is I'll say simple, and then simple documents, and what is a example of a simple document that you're that you're thinking of? Like a sworn statement, powers of attorney, deed of trust, are any of these simple?
The funny thing is that, that's actually really something. So,
Just
I
tell me which
just-
ones are simple.
I know for me, I just start getting more nervous on the, when we start talking about houses, the deeds of trust,
Property,
So deeds of trust, no?
powers of attorney,
anything real estate, I would say.
all these things are,
Designation for retirement accounts, yea or nay?
I think that could be very most of the time that would be very matter of fact.
Promissory notes, motor vehicle bills of sale.
And I think those are very matter, because you would have to have
Rental
those
agreement,
actual
good,
people
copy
present.
certifications and sworn statements, good?
I think those are actual witnesses, actual
These
people.
are the ones that she's saying that are simple, sworn statements.
And the others could be, but those are a lot more,
Are you good with that, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. We'll list that, and we'll list the ones that we don't want.
which I like what they have on the not,
Yeah.
they have good on.
Okay, all right, so I will make a motion that I will create a policy, merging the Stokes Brown Public Library with the notes that we have right here, and I'll put that together, and then we'll have another meeting, and we'll get that, take a look at that. So I'll entertain that motion.
So moved?
We move, have a second, and Mike, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're going to move on to the collection and development policy planning pertaining to surplus books. So this, very happy that we can get the books there. Those are different. This is the collection and development
The
policy.
regular, yeah.
So there were some suggestions that came about that I changed a few of the things. So change in our collection and development policy under donation. It was change recycle to disposal, so as not to limit how you can get rid of it.
Great.
Okay. And then, so under donations, donated items considered for the addition to the collection consist of like new material in the following format. So what I will just do, anywhere where it says recycle, I'll put disposal, and then, so under donations, it would be given away to the community or be disposed of, where it says or be recycled right now. Does that make sense? It's not in yours, it's in our collection development policy that we have, the existing one,
Okay.
or be disposed of. Okay? And then,
You're just adding language.
changing out, and then in weed books, given away, or recycled, it would say disposed of. So it's just a few things, and then at the end, it would say we'll have access to and will be disposed of. So what I'll do is I'll make these minor adjustments. If you guys are in favor of changing where it says recycle to be disposed of, I'll make those minor changes, and then we can vote on that. Cool? All right, so I'll entertain a motion to make those changes.
So moved, Madam Chair.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Wonderful, okay. And then set calendar to review all library policies. Those are the big things that you have in front of you, okay? So, many of you probably haven't seen, but these are the policies right now that we have in effect for the library. These were 2016 and 2018, some 2019, and Tennessee, we're supposed to be going over these policies on a yearly basis. And we haven't had a chair for the policies and committees for a year, so we haven't gone over any of these policies. Also, you have a rough draft policy. This was actually put together, rough draft policy under the system, the library system. So I just want to make sure you guys have this as well, because this has been floating around been floating around as well, amongst, it was given to us when we first came on the library board. So, 2 years, yes. So, also, as it is right now, there is no congruent employee handbook amongst all of the libraries. So there is a lot of things that that policies and bylaws need to go over in the next short amount of
Which I
time.
would love to do. I'm a streamliner. I love those kind of things where we have it set.
Yeah,
I was sad to hear that we don't have it.
correct.
But people just need to know what's expected of them.
Yeah, and that's actually been requested.
Yeah,
It
I'm
has.
sure.
Do you have
I'm
questions?
sure that.
When you say no, you said no handbook, right? So there's no, there's been no reconciliation between the old system bylaws and our current bylaws, right? Like,
Policy, not bylaws.
I'm sorry, policies.
So
You said policies, not
these
bylaws.
rough drafts were never approved or published.
Got it.
Okay, these are what they are running on now,
These are
and we
policies.
also have to recreate the mission statement as well, because we are supposed to, look at the mission statement and make sure it is current. So as they recreate, I should say, we're supposed to look at the mission statement, and, this stuff is actually supposed to be on a yearly basis. So, with that being said, I put on here a set of calendars to review all library policies. I brought my calendar, and I thought that, we could set a few times that we could, start going through some of these policies. And since you all have them, we could come together afterwards and say, hey, here's my notes and all that stuff as well. So, with that being said, we need to set a date.
So, okay, so what would be the assignment then for us? So would it be wise for us to start going through these policies? Because we'll need to do that before we set a date. I mean, before we come together.
What I think would be great is for us, first of all, for you guys to take these home, read them. I'll also email it to you as well, so you can have it on email. I think Jackie does have those of these, but I'll make sure to email them to her as well. I think in the meantime, between now and the time that we come together to approve these other two policies that we just finished up, that everyone's going to take a look at it, and then I'll put it on the agenda to set the calendar. That should give people time to have
Read
read
all this.
through the
Okay.
policies. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm reading both of these. Am I looking for, I mean, these are, the old system ones are non-binding. I understand that. Like, we're not operating under these.
These,
Never
yeah,
official.
these were never even approved.
Okay.
These were just looked through, but you can
Completed.
use them for reference, say,
Check.
hey, you know what, I kind of like something
Got
in
it.
there,
Okay.
and I want to put it in this policy.
All right.
Got
And it was
You know
never
what I'm saying?
completed because it even has notes of extreme revision.
Okay.
and things like that.
Very good.
Yeah. And like you'll look in here, and it has our the old collection development policies even in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah,
This isn't even our current.
this is our.
I'm sorry, this is our current, but it's not, congruent with our existing bylaws.
Policies. Or.
But
what do you
Like the
mean?
collection policy, the new collection policy is not in here.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. It's not in.
That's what we're doing. We're modernized. We need to bring them
Mhm.
together.
Yes. Because this is, like if you look in here, there's computer usage policies,
That's different now.
that's different now.
Right, so why aren't those policies in here? Because as we pass them,
Because no one ever, we didn't have a chairman
For
that was taking that role.
We didn't have a chair, and the previous chair of the library board never called a policy and bylaws committee meeting
right,
to
Okay.
mirror them. Does that make sense?
yeah, but it's not like the computer use policy or any of the other policies that have been passed by this board. I mean, they're obviously in effect.
Correct, they are in effect.
They're just not in this
They're
packet.
just not in this packet.
Okay. Or,
Yes.
a lot of angry
So
words.
the why is the we,
I
are the
understand.
ones down.
I'm tracking.
Right, so now we want to make this
Unified.
pretty and
Codified.
unified.
Right.
Got it, very good.
Make sense?
Yep.
And
Okay.
adopted.
And adopted, correct? Okay, all right, well, so what we want to do then is, we're going to set the calendar for our next meeting then, for for this, and I'll hope that Jackie can do it if you need to look at it as a tentative. Would 2 weeks be good, or what are you guys thinking?
We're not available the 22nd or
Yeah,
23rd.
I'll be in
Okay.
Mexico that week.
Oh, fancy.
Well, it's just for
No, I'm just kidding.
treatment for my wife, Lyme disease.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Oh, and we
Well,
need
thanks
to be
for
praying
making
for
me look like a
Jackie
Jackie.
today, too, because she's getting ready for it.
yes, I had thought about her.
We want to say a prayer for her.
Indeed.
Okay, all right.
29th?
Go ahead.
29th?
29th works for me.
Yeah, that would work.
As far as I know, that's fine.
Do the 29th.
Oh, wait.
Okay. And we can do it on a different day than a Tuesday as well.
I looked at all the days, that was the first one that was open.
Okay, that sounds
I
good.
can't do it
First
on
one.
that day, so, my wife has a thing at 12:30, like in 5 hours. I'll be there with her.
Okay.
I can do it on that day. We do it the next day.
We could always do it earlier in the day.
Okay, yeah. So I
I
could,
start hitting, when does that start?
What time?
I am giving my son a ride at 10.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I'll be busy from 9:30 to 10:30.
Okay.
Could do the 30th.
We have a personnel meeting at 4, just to have put that out there. So, that's open for me. I'm just letting my,
Okay.
I could,
So then you can't have talk at the 30th, right?
right.
Okay.
I
Why don't we
could
do this?
I'm on 31st.
31st?
Yep.
31st, I could be.
It's open for me. My problem is I just give rides to my son for work, so that limitation is there for me. But I'm open whenever.
What
Okay.
time, what time do you give them around?
I'm not available from 9:30 to 10:30, and I'm not available from 1:30 to 2:30.
Okay. So what if we did 11?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that would work for even,
Or 3?
even the 30th, like the 30th or 31st, I can do that. And 11 or 11:30.
Okay, why don't we do this?
I can do that.
Because, we'll just go ahead and do this via email, because,
With the poll.
then, you know, I don't want to take up any more time.
We get Jackie to consider too,
Yes,
right?
we'll get
Okay.
Jackie to
Okay.
consider as well. So we'll send out some time to email. Sound cool?
Very good.
Okay. All right, so then I'll entertain a motion, to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second. I got it. You didn't
All in
do it.